So we got a couple minutes left on the episode. So I want to hop into our next topic. Deadpool 3 announcement came out a couple weeks ago, and they are bringing back the man, the myth, the legend. Hugh Jackman is returning as Wolverine in Deadpool 3. So just taking a moment to suck that in alone, this makes the fourth mutant to be joining the MCU. This is behind Professor X, A Multiverse of Madness, Miss Marvel, and of course the Disney Plus series Miss Marvel. Namor, which is coming to us in November in Wakanda Forever, and then Wolverine that's coming in Deadpool 3. So this just all goes back to when are the X-Men fully? When is the X-Men fully going to debut in the MCU? Because what it's looking like to me, we're getting piecemeal mutants. And then somewhere past phase 5, phase 6, we're going to officially get us some X-Men content. But what's the plan?
My whole thing is y'all have brought back our old school Wolverine. Like, is he here forever? Like, should I get used to him? Like Deadpool 3 is a part of the MCU, correct? Like, this is officially like
Yeah, I think
it's
this
in the
is.
MCU.
I think his Deadpool 3 officially puts him in the MCU.
So that would make Hugh Jackman, Wolverine, officially a part of the lore, the MCU.
Hey,
So,
but
is he here?
they just introduced the multiverse, so
I don't know. It
he
overwhelmed me,
could
bro.
he could be Wolverine from a different Earth. You know they gonna pull. I feel like they gonna pull that card. I don't think Hugh Jackman is here to stay.
I mean, would you be mad if he was here to stay though?
I think he would be too old.
Yeah.
If I physically, I think he would be too old to stay in the MCU as Wolverine. Now, what they could do, which would be super dope, if they kept him and they brought old girl from Logan, his daughter,
Ooh.
and officially put her in to stand in as Wolverine. Now that would be dope. But I don't see Hugh Jackman lasting long in the MCU. I see him being on some Professor X stuff. Like, I'm doing this one movie and that's it.
Right.
Hugh Jackman here to get
Okay,
this
because
check.
I'm gonna be real, bro.
Nah, for real. A Disney check?
A Disney check is nice.
A Disney check. Like, he been getting them Fox checks for a while. And I'm sure they've been pretty nice. But a Disney check?
Bro, they knew what they was doing with that trailer too. Because when I watched it, I saw it on Twitter. I was like, X-Men, Wolverine and Deadpool. Hold on. And I see Ryan Reynolds' old funny self over here saying, "Hey, Hugh, you want to do another movie?" Sure, Ryan. I'm like, huh? We got X-Men?
Well, we got Wolverine. So this is the
Wolverine.
thing. I think we got Wolverine. We ain't got X-Men.
You right.
I think we're going to get piecemeal mutants from now into whenever they decide to put out a full X-Men production. And my theory behind it, because this was something I heard like a long time ago, is that putting in the X-Men now would like overshadow the rest of the MCU. Like,
it would.
If Phase 5 had an X-Men standalone movie, y'all wouldn't care about Ant-Man, y'all wouldn't care about Miss Marvel, y'all wouldn't care about none of that stuff that was going on. We want to see this X-Men movie.
If they drop the X-Men movie, the only thing I'll be caring about is Wakanda Forever and when that Fantastic Four movie drop. I ain't gonna cap to you. I'll be like, I'm cool with Avengers
because
now.
because let's talk about Multiverse of Madness. Like, when they revealed that Professor X was going to be in the movie, there was some chatter about Professor X being in the movie, but that didn't overshadow the whole movie. Like, after the Professor X thing, everybody was talking about how Wanda cut up the whole movie.
True.
Yeah.
I get that. It's just that this is exciting.
It is. I am curious to see where this is, like, if they're going to be piecemealing those mutants. I am curious to see who is going to be given to us. Because the weird thing about this whole lineup is Miss Marvel. That throws everything off for me, because Miss Marvel's origins is not being a mutant. She's an Inhuman. And it's not like we haven't been introduced to the Inhumans, because we saw Black Bolt in Multiverse of Madness. So that throws me off. But the only thing I can think of to justify that choice is that on this current Earth, where all of the MCU stories have been currently taking place, is they don't know enough about mutants, and they don't know enough about Inhumans to differentiate them, to say, oh, you're a mutant, oh, you're an Inhuman. So everything that looks weird in somebody's DNA, we're just going to officially write that down as a mutation or a mutant until, some more movies come past and now we know the difference.
And another thing is, is Deadpool 3 a reboot technically? Because it's already official, like Deadpool 1 and 2 aren't in the MCU technically. Because in Deadpool 2, they had 2 whole X-Men in there. And they acknowledged the school and all of that. Ryan even did that little, what's it called? That fourth wall where you talk to the audience, and it's like y'all are from a school for mutants and blah 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 in the second movie. So is Deadpool 3 going to be a reboot technically, or is it another universe type thing?
I don't know too much about what. I don't think anybody knows too much about what Deadpool 3 is supposed to be about. But it could easily be a multiverse thing, another Earth thing. They could easily throw him in the same universe that they pulled Patrick Stewart from. Because if we want to talk about Patrick Stewart, Professor X, we already know his whole backstory and how he even got here. So on that Earth, there's technically an X-Men, because Professor X. So I can see them doing some type of multiverse thing. It depends on how they plan on using Deadpool. I don't think they're gonna just reboot his whole thing. I think too much has gone on in his movies for him to be like, okay, we're gonna reboot Deadpool.
Okay. I'm interested, because you know what? And it's not really a cop-out since they introduced the idea, but I totally could see that multiverse thing being like their leverage for introducing and bringing in new characters and stuff.
Or they don't. Or another possibility is that his movie is not even closely related to what's going on in MCU. Like, they could be in the MCU, but their whole story is separate from what's been going on. Like, anything that's going on in MCU, Deadpool could just be like, hey, we know that all this stuff is going on, but we doing this stuff over here. Like, I know you haven't watched Moon Knight, but they could do it how they did the Moon Knight series. Like, Moon Knight wasn't directly related to the MCU at all. Like, he was in the MCU. He existed in the universe, but like his storyline and the plot points that they touched on throughout the whole season didn't really connect with what was with the previous Phase 4 movies we got going on. So it could be that.
But my thing is, Phase 4 was already so loosely connected anyway that they gonna have to connect some dots in this Phase 5 regardless.
I don't think it would be with Deadpool though. That's when I'm thinking that Deadpool is going to be in the MCU, but he's going to exist outside of the storyline that they got going on. Like, Deadpool being Deadpool, he's going to acknowledge that it's been some freaky stuff going on in the MCU, but he just might not be directly involved in what's supposed to go down.
Deadpool's gonna come with all the jokes for sure.
I'm excited.
Pretty much, he's gonna come with all the jokes, and they're gonna. I can imagine Deadpool, and he makes a joke about the Eternals, like when that fat ass Celestial came out the Earth, and nobody has acknowledged this yet. I know that made the biggest earthquake of all time.
Yes.
And y'all mean to tell me nobody has acknowledged this yet? He's gonna acknowledge it.
Deadpool alone could connect all the dots. Like on some most of it, be like, "Yo, did y'all see that? Fans, I know y'all saw it, but did y'all feel
that? It sounded like a Celestial. Like, why do you know what that is?"
Right.
Oh goodness.
Oh man.
I'm just that's what it's looking like to me. With all these announcements, with Namor coming and him being officially announced as a mutant, it just seems like we're about to get piecemeal mutants up until they finally make an X-Men production. And it could just turn into, as we're getting piecemeal, that we start getting the explanation of how mutants ended up here.
True.
Because there's still the theory of they're going to use the snap. When whoever came back from the snap, their DNA might have gotten altered to be mutants. So that's still a possibility that they could do that.
So, quick
That
question:
is something that could make sense.
with us
What's up?
getting Hugh Jackman back as Wolverine, is there any possibility that we can see the Storm?
Okay. Yes, but I heard that they are waiting. Some of these people who played these mutants in the past are still on contract.
Mm-hmm.
So if they ever wanted to bring back any of like the well-known X-Men, they would either have to use the current actors that we're used to, or they would have to wait until their contracts end, and then then they can start getting new people. So it
How
really
long are
just
those contracts?
it really just depends on if Halle Berry want to come back. If Halle Berry is still on contract to play Storm, it really just depends if she want a Disney check. But it to fully answer your question in all seriousness, I think it really just depends on how they plan on using Hugh Jackman. Because like you said before, Ralph, is that they're gonna use Deadpool for the funnies. And while Deadpool has his serious moments, his movie is entertaining on a comedic level all the
Right.
time. So Hugh Jackman being there could just be for a Deadpool Wolverine buddy comedy adventure. And that could just be his only purpose being here. But if they flip his purpose to be like, hey, we're actually going to use you to bring in the MCU version of the mutants, then there might be a possibility that Storm and the rest of them are coming. But it sounds like to me is that Miss Marvel is the starting point for the mutants.
Right.
Okay.
So that's or just erase the fact that she's actually an Inhuman. If the line starts with her and this is her first time being introduced in the MCU, and with Namor too, like this is his first time being in the MCU, it sounds like they might be bringing in like new people. Like I hate to say it, like the next X-Men production may be a whole group of mutants that have not seen the cinematic screen.
Man, I want to see Nightcrawler. I need my boy.
That man been in it. It really just depends on what Kevin Feige's plan. Because I read an article, I can't remember where I read it, but I think it might have been IGN. But nobody knows what the plan is for X-Men except Kevin Feige. Nobody. Nobody.
Okay.
Like when you know, but like anything else, like he's keeping that shit under wraps.
He ain't trying to let nothing
Okay.
out.
I'm gonna let him do what he do. I'm gonna sit
I
here and
just
shut my fat self up and watch.
it's I feel him though because it's about to be a balancing act of like teams. Like for the first phase 1 through 3, it was Avengers, and then they introduced Guardians of the Galaxy, and then we were managing the Avengers and managing Guardians of the Galaxy. Phase 5, we're about to be managing what's going to be the next team of Avengers, um, Thunderbolts, whatever they plan on doing with them, Fantastic Four, whatever they plan on doing with them, and then just adding X-Men. Now you have to manage 4 teams until whatever this big overall multiverse saga endgame is supposed to be. I could honestly see the X-Men coming in after all of this is done.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Like, let's end this Avengers story and then make X-Men and probably Fantastic Four on the side. Well, after.
Well, Fantastic Four is coming phase
True.
6.
You're right. You're right. You're right. I forgot that part
So
too.
they're coming. Like, it's officially known that the Fantastic Four are coming. But when are they gonna say, here's the MCU's X-Men? I can see that coming sometime after this whole
Okay.
multiverse saga is done. Like, well, and forgot about these folks. They introduced the Eternals. That's a whole separate team of folks.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
whatever
like
they
the
about to do,
Eternals.
whatever they about to do with the Avengers, the Eternals, Thunderbolts, and Fantastic Four. And if you want to count Wakanda as a team in themselves, like they have so many pieces to manage.
It's
It's
a lot.
I feel like it's just exactly. And like the X-Men have so many people. They have so many people.
Yeah.
It's just really if they ever take off with this X-Men story, it's like they're going to have to wipe out a couple people that we're used to make room for the X-Men, or they're just going to have their own little lane of X-Men stories.
And that Professor X, Magneto, Big Bad argument, whether or not how many X-Men are going to get their own solos, that's a lot.
And that's if they give them solos. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like Miss Marvel, going back to Miss Marvel, she did get her solo series, but she's not really a mutant. And it could be something like that when they start picking out their lineup of mutants, that some of them might get their solo series and then boom, X-Men movie.
Right.
So,
Mm.
what's up, y'all? If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can get more updates from the mob. For the full discussion and more discussions like this one, click the link in the description. Thanks for watching.
Rock with it, rock with it. Let me pop my shit. Let me pop my shit. Hands up.